What? You need to give a speech next week? You've been asked to speak on ancient Egyptian algebra. Well, don't panic. I can't help you with the ancient Egyptian part, but I can certainly help you with the speech part. My name is William Moss, and I'd like to give you some tips that I've learned in Toastmasters for how to make a good speech. One thing that I always do when I start is I begin asking myself 3 questions. The first question I ask is, who is my audience? Who is listening to me? Second, I ask, what is my message? What am I trying to get across? And third, how do I best express it? That's not just the message, but all of the ideas all together. First, I'd like to think about what is my audience. Not just who is there, who's listening to me, but who I am trying to get this message across to. That could be critical. I come back to that question all the time when I'm crafting the speech, especially with what vocabulary should I be using. If I'm doing ancient Egyptian algebra, am I able to use words like hieroglyphics and quadratic formula? Or do I have to simplify it down to words like emoticons and magic? That's critical in determining who your audience is to determine what vocabulary you should use. Second, I look at what my message is. Everybody has a lot that they want to talk about, but if I have to simplify what I am trying to convey down to just one 30-second statement, what is that statement? I can elaborate on that, I can expand on it, I can add all sorts of points to support it, but it's a very good idea to start your speech with a message about what it is you're trying to convey and make it as concise as possible. When you combine this with who you are speaking to, you get a lot of questions answered when you're making the speech. Third, I'd like to ask myself the question is, how do I best express an idea? Because once I have an audience and once I have an idea, a good message that I'm coming across, I have lots of ideas that come to me, especially in the terms of visual aids, in terms of stories, in terms of all sorts of things. I might have the same story I want to tell in front of a judge and a story I want to tell at a eulogy, but there might be better ways to express it for one audience in certain circumstances than another audience in other circumstances. Best expression can also mean, how do you want to dress? How do you want to get your ideas across to your audience? I do want to take a moment to mention a caveat about visual aids. Everyone loves visual aids because it can better exemplify what you want to say with something in your hands than what you have coming out of your mouth. Be warned, though, that even if it's your grandmother's veil that you want to hold up and show at a wedding audience or slides at your business meeting, remember that those items are your competition. You are competing with those things that you have, those visual aids, for attention. If they are not absolutely critical to your speech, then think about getting rid of them. Do you have a way to show a map of states? If you can express that in words, maybe you don't want to risk showing that on the screen. If you have no way to express the idea other than having a visual aid to show it, then bring the visual aid. It's not illegal to have a visual aid in your speech. Just be warned that oftentimes visual aids compete with you for your attention. When it comes down to it, there is no better way to get your point across to your audience and to avoid distracting them with unneeded messages, to keep their attention and to make sure your voice and your speech get across to them. I hope these 3 questions, who is your audience, what is your message, and how best to express your ideas, have been useful to you. Thank you.